Here we go.
I'm proud of you, though, Everett.
He did work hard. He's worked hard all week.
Thank you.
You put in
An
A
MVG
effort.
MVG effort.
That's right. All right, welcome back to Behind the Blind here at Tornado Alley. This is episode 3, and it's brought to you by Tetra Hearing, so check them out at tetrahearing.com. We did not do an all-day hunt today.
No, we didn't. Thank God.
Woo!
It was
I wouldn't be
5
here. I'd be
below
about
this
6 feet
morning.
under.
It was 25-plus miles per hour, and we smacked them today.
We did smack
Yeah.
him real good.
After the first 2 days that we had here, which weren't horrible, but a little did not exceed the expectation, we can proudly say that we were gratified with how today's hunt went.
Third day of high hopes, and the high hopes finally came through.
Yeah.
Weather's
Yep.
playing a key factor.
That's right.
Huge.
Logan Burditt, Alex Diecidue, I'm Ronnie Philips, and welcome from quarantine with influenza, Brandon Mendoza from Tornado Alley.
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah.
Are you Jewish?
No.
Okay.
Mendoza. Yeah, that's Jewish.
How are you feeling?
A lot better.
Good.
Lot better.
Good.
Yep.
Are you 100%?
Yeah, I'm never 100%.
He
gotta leave some room
runs
for
at a
error,
consistent
okay?
Well,
86%.
That's usually when you're hanging out with your stepbrother, but he is not hanging around with us for the last few years. Jose,
Yep.
where are you?
yeah.
He's peace out.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next year will be the first time in like 4 years that we've got to hang out with him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Logan, why don't you kind of help us? What?
Okay.
What? I just said, why don't you set up the day and how things went?
Cold.
Yeah, very, very, very cold. I didn't think we were going to make it. At one point in time, I couldn't even see the road. It was blowing so hard and snowing so hard. So the spot that we ended up having this success on wasn't the spot we actually initially set up on this morning. And
Or we thought we were going to set up.
yeah, the spot that we ended up shooting on was the spot we wanted to set up on.
I think I mentioned that.
The spot that Brandon's like, hey, we need to be here. But literally, the water that was open was the size of this table. And, you know, it was 8 foot by 8 foot. It was tiny, tiny.
Right.
So we were trying to look for a little bit more open water. And to be honest, I didn't think any of it was going to be frozen this morning. We've hunted there. I haven't hunted there, but I've seen birds on there in the past. We've had opportunities to hunt it, but 3 years ago, you guys hunted. We were about an hour north.
Yeah.
At that point in time, but so you guys are obviously familiar with it. Brandon's been hunting his whole life. This is just one of those spots that when it gets good, it gets good. When the weather's right, it's right. It's just one of those spots that you know the birds are going to come to, and there were already birds there starting to use it yesterday, and then obviously water locking up all morning long, all last night. It's just progressively getting better and better and better, and it just took us to basically just be where the birds wanted to be in the small water of that. So we went and set up, threw a dozen decoys out, and literally the first 3 flocks went right into where we were talking about, where we initially, ended up hunting.
Yeah.
So we picked up a move real quick.
Right.
Hindsight 2020, but we were going for the biggest
Going for
portion
the
of
most
open
open
water.
water.
And we could have shot birds there, no doubt, but it wasn't exactly where they wanted to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but man, I mean, unbelievable hunt. And when it's snowing and blowing like that, and we were able to get down below the bank, out of the wind.
Right.
There's nothing better. There really isn't. It's just phenomenal. And this isn't a river. This is a creek.
Yeah, why do you guys call it a river?
It's called a river.
It's called a river.
It's not much. It is a creek.
It is definitely a
Yeah.
creek.
I mean, we were in ankle deep water at the ripple, which that's really the only parts you can hunt, because the only open water, because the fastest flowing water there is in the whole river.
Right.
Creek.
It's crazy too, because you're talking about it's blowing 25 plus, the snow is in their eyes, and the first hour we were there, like
They had no idea.
you might as well say we weren't hiding. Like our hide was nothing, but they just can't see. They cannot see,
yeah.
and they just want to get down in that small piece of water. It's the only water that's open, and I would say that's definitely the smallest piece of water that I've ever shot ducks over. And when they do it like that, and they just suck right down,
You just
There's-
know
there's
it's going to
nothing like
happen,
it.
right?
Yeah.
We just knew it was going to happen.
Right.
As soon as we got there this morning, which it took a lot longer than we figured it was going to, but as soon as we got there, there's a group, and they're just immediately sucking into the river.
Yeah.
Just not where we wanted to. So, but the thing is, it was super easy. We didn't have blinds. We didn't lay out.
No.
Nothing. We had a dozen decoys.
It's
Picked a
the
dozen up,
easiest setup we've ever had.
Moved
here.
down.
Especially compared to the day before when we were running 5 rippers and these decoys
Yeah.
and doing this and doing.
The easiest setup
All we had
ever.
to do was throw out a dozen decoys and sit.
Yeah, and it was great.
It was awesome.
It was great.
one of my favorites.
Look,
Of
don't
all
even
time, but
mind
definitely
the three
recently.
the 3 trucks running 10 yards away from the from
Yeah,
where we were
exactly.
sitting.
Right above us.
They didn't care this morning. Survival mode.
Sure.
How can I find
Absolutely.
open water?
They need
How
water.
can I find the water? If I don't have the water, I'm toast.
Well, Sean has been. Have you been hunting that river for many years?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know Sean kind
Yeah.
of grew up hunting that river. Have you ever seen that? I keep calling it a river. It sounds so weird to call it a river.
The crick in the
It's a
creek.
river.
It was a crick in the creek.
That crick, the crick in the creek. Have you ever seen that lock up?
Yeah, there's times where it gets pretty much locked up. You'll have just a small amount of water. but-
Because it's the place you really want to go look when all the other bodies of water are
Uh-huh.
locking up, right?
Yes.
Because it's generally the only
Yep.
open water that's left.
Yep.
But it does have the ability.
it will lock up. Yes,
Yeah.
it will. It will. I mean, one year we were actually hunting. It was pretty deep. It got almost too deep to even hunt. It was so swift,
Wow.
which held water open, but made it very difficult, obviously, to get in there safely to hunt birds.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's really the whole reason that we wanted to hunt there, because we knew hunting other options might not be safe.
yeah.
You know, and a field option today was
It's a
wishy-washy, right?
Yeah, what time
Obviously,
they
you're
gonna
not doing
fly.
anything in the morning.
Yeah.
Afternoon, maybe not, just because of the weather. But this was a safe option, right? We're walking in ankle-deep water. We get to park the trucks right next to where we're hunting. Keep them
Right.
running. If someone got cold and you walk in there,
Yep.
I was
That
gonna
was
say,
me.
can we just say
that
this
was
out
me.
loud?
Yep, that was me.
He's the only one who went to the truck that didn't sit. So he comes back. He comes
So
back
sorry,
out.
so sorry that I had my gloves off taking pictures of you while you shot mallards.
He comes back out, and it's a funny picture of Everett and him because he's happy and warm, and there's
Oh, yeah.
no snow, and Everett is like Everett
Ice
looks like a
cube.
popsicle.
I literally, we get back in and I'm looking at that again. And I was like, this is the total client hunt.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I'm the guy that just got out of the pickup truck. This guy's got icicles hanging off
Yeah.
his beard.
Hey, the birds are flying. Come on down. now.
Yeah. Everett literally has ice all over his waders, and mine are just perfectly clean, like they're brand new, just got out of the box.
That's why he couldn't hurry so bad. So
He
because
couldn't-
was
he
so
couldn't even move his
slow. He
leg.
got so much
Yeah.
ice on him.
He just didn't want to bust his ass on the ice.
Well,
I
maybe.
don't blame him either.
He'll break a hip.
He's getting up there. He's
Yeah,
getting
he
up.
is.
He's
We got
getting
to
up.
put him in the home after
That's
he
right.
breaks a hip.
There was a few times I was afraid I might break a hip trying to crawl up that hill
Those
or go
bones
down
are
it.
getting frail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting
It
real
was
frail.
it was super nice because, like you said, you're down in that hole, so we're not really getting beat by the wind. Because when we walked back up to the trucks when we were done, it was brutal
Oh, yeah.
up there. Like
Yeah.
I had to have people help me get my zippers off because one, they were frozen, and my hands were so cold I couldn't function my zipper.
Yep.
It was brutal up there.
Yeah,
But
it's
down in that creek, I mean, other than just our hands getting cold, it never once was cold by any means.
Right.
And we were shooting into volleys of ducks every 15 minutes or
Oh,
so.
it was
like,
constant
you're-
activity.
You're
yeah.
pretty excited.
Today is one of those days that all waterfowl hunters look forward to, right? Like, that's exactly what you're looking for. It's just, it was a little extreme, right? It's
Yeah.
a little
Mhm.
overboard on the safety aspect.
That-
And today there's probably a lot of people that did a lot of dumb things today.
Yeah.
We've
Mhm.
already seen the
But-
news stories come
Yep.
out.
It definitely, when it gets this cold and this windy and water, it's not a good situation.
The
There
reason
was a local guy that was going out taking his boat to get a goose, and his outboard stopped, and it sucked him up into the ice, and
Oh,
his
no.
boat froze into the ice.
Mm-hmm.
And they called the fire department and tried to get him in there. They had boat problems getting out there, but they finally got him out.
see, like,
And that's the
things like
second
that can
story from
happen.
the-
Yeah.
that we've heard.
Yeah, and that's the weather's that extreme, And we were talking about last night how nothing's worth, a duck.
Yeah, I
or
think
goose by
actually I
any-
made the comment to you guys last night, and make sure you got extra clothes,
Yep.
trucks running, heaters,
Right.
for dogs, everything, just
Just in case.
I didn't even
one
get the
tumble.
I didn't even get the dogs out of the truck.
yeah,
I just
no,
left them in there.
yeah.
It wasn't even worth it.
We had
Yeah.
Everett.
that's my dog. That's my dog.
Over.
He doesn't listen to commands very well, though.
No,
Not-
and gosh, dang, I wish he was a little
He
faster.
certainly doesn't respond to a whistle.
Well,
He
he's
does
getting
not
older.
run a 4.440. I promise you that. No 4.440. You didn't do well in the NFL Combine.
You know, one of the things we also talked about last night was of all the kind of extreme conditions that and obviously today was probably the most extreme that we've ever hunted in.
Yeah.
As it concerns the weather elements. But when we look back over the last 10 years that we've been doing Heartland Waterfowl, of those most extreme moments, how each one of those have been successful. And lo and behold, it was another one of those.
It's awesome.
Oh,
And why do you think people go out there and do dumb things, right?
Mhm.
Because
Like we were talking about the safety once again last night. People go out and do dumb things. The guy went out on whatever lake that was and decides that he wants to take his boat out in 50-mile-an-hour gusts when that spray of the water is going to just freeze everything in sight,
Uh-huh.
at negative 25-degree wind chill. But he still felt the need that he's going to go out there because he's going to have a good time and he's going to have one of the best hunts of his life. Alex talked about it the whole time. He goes, this could be something we remember the rest of our life. And we definitely will.
Mhm.
But we also picked and choose the area we were doing, and we knew we were going to be smart about it. And
Yes,
if we
yeah.
got cold, we have a running truck right there.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Like, if we didn't have this option, right? If this,
We wouldn't have hunted.
if the
No,
creek spot wasn't an
not
option,
even close.
we would have just stayed in.
The biggest
But-
factor for me was we're out of the wind.
Yes.
That was the biggest factor.
Mhm.
We can
It's-
get down below the bank and get out of the wind, and that saved everything.
Yeah, if you're up on a tall bank on top of everything, catching all that wind and shooting down on them, although that would be fun, but oh my
Or
gosh, it'd
even-
been cold.
Even out in the middle of the field, out on open water, like anybody else that's out.
Yeah.
Like,
Bad.
it's just crazy. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
You have to days of extreme anything, temperature, wind, whatever. You have to juggle that fine line between a successful hunt and what's going to be a good option there, but also what's going to be your safest
Safe
option.
bet.
And if the safety aspect goes way down here just because you think you're going to be successful, it's not worth it.
Not at all. I mean, there's several times we've got other river spots we can hunt, and it's always these conditions. It's icy, wet, or something. And I always factor in clients, if one step shouldering their gun and they take a slip, that hunt's done.
Mhm.
We're not going to finish the hunt. We got to make sure everybody's safe. And it's just,
Right.
there's so many options that I've had in river situations. It's just not safe. It's not worth it. I mean, I know everybody's wanting to come have a great shoot, and it could potentially be so, but I ain't going to do something that's not safe.
You want it
You're
to-
only hunting the river when it's bad.
You want it to be
exactly,
a memorable hunt for
exactly.
the good reasons, not
Yeah.
because you're like, oh, well, Logan
This is
almost
where we
died
got
that
our-
day.
this is
Remember
where
when
we
Logan
got
almost
our-
died?
Yeah.
You don't want
The birds are only on the river when they have to be on the river, and what is that? 0 degrees.
Mhm. Right.
0.
You talked about shooting down on the ducks, and we actually, I'm going to try to find the best way I can to kind of describe this bank, because it wasn't in in this area, when you think of Midwest creeks, they're vertical. I mean, straight
Yeah.
up and down.
Yeah.
It wasn't the case with this. It kind of stair-stepped its way down
It had-
to the
that's
water.
kind of
It had a
Kind
decent
of a
little
landing.
bench. Yeah.
Right. And so when we initially started off, we weren't at the top. We weren't at the bottom. We were, my daughter's trying to FaceTime me. She's probably wanting to give Logan a hard time. But anyway, sorry. We were in the middle of that
I shot
bank.
more than Ronnie today, Reagan. Let's make that clear.
Did we? I think we all shot a limit. But anyways, she won't give up.
Good. Tell her.
If she calls
Tell her-
one more time, I
tell-
might have to take
tell
this
her,
and say,
tell her I
"We're
shot
trying to-"
more.
Put
Tell
her on the
tell
behind
her.
the
Come on,
blind.
tell her.
If she'll probably call back. We'll see. Anyway, we
You
were in the
don't wanna
middle.
Tell her.
But because you didn't.
Time out. Technically, he shot a bonus duck today, and
So
you
did I.
didn't.
Gadwall.
Oh gosh, that's right. You guys are
Gadwall.
tied.
I just didn't
Yeah.
shoot the head off of it. Sorry.
So
He
you
said
shot
it,
more
not
than
me.
because we couldn't find the head. So.
Right. We were in the middle of that bank. And so we weren't, we could still feel some wind, obviously mostly out of it. But the greatest part about shooting this particular hole is that those first several groups that came in sucked in so far down that we actually were borderline shooting down on them,
Yeah.
which was so cool. And the best part is that even when you get that first shot, and they start to come up, it's so hard for them, even in a strong wind, right? Like they're
yeah.
so committed inside that hole, it's really tough for them to get out.
Yeah, they don't have the option to angle out. They've got to get straight up.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
And there was a lot of green in those groups,
A
and they
lot.
were so easy to see. So I mean, it was so
Yeah.
easy to pick out green.
The
Today.
Drake to hen ratio was very, very good today.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was one of those that we're going to remember for a very long time. Before we go on to what we're going to do tomorrow, I'd like to remind you to comment on this video, comment on all the videos that we're releasing in this new YouTube series. We got the actual hunt recap. So today's hunt that we're talking about, you'll be able to see on our Heartland Waterfowl page. So subscribe, hit the notifications bell, comment on all these videos, and then go to huntingwithhw.com. Fill out all your information on that landing page, because there's an opportunity for you to win a hunt with us, a filmed hunt. It's a 2-day hunt in Missouri with Valley Oaks the first week of February, and we're going to draw that winner while we're in Texas, which I think is on January 5th when we're going to draw that winner. So you got just a few more weeks to get entered for that, and it could possibly be you hunting with us and possibly being on an episode of Behind the Blind. So the idea then for tomorrow is kind of go back to the original scene of the crime, right?
Right.
It's really the only option.
Right.
We have the same exact weather tomorrow. Brutal cold.
It never got above freezing today.
Yeah,
It's been
brutal.
negatives all
Brutal
day.
wind.
The wind's been,
There's
You say freezing, you meant 0.
who knows what they're
What did I say?
the birds are
Freezing.
Oh, Celsius. Duh.
Right. It is the best option for tomorrow.
It's just what you got to do. There's really not a whole lot. There's not. Once again,
Not a lot of movement out there tonight.
I don't want to go out in a field tomorrow afternoon in 35-mile-an-hour wind and
No.
negative 8-degree temperatures. I have no desire to go sit out in that. But if I can get below the bank, out of the wind a little bit,
In my truck.
and I have a good chance of shooting a limit of mallards in the first 2 hours of shooting light because they're trying to find open water, I'm in.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
in.
So-
And my truck's 10 yards away. I can just hop
Exactly. Well, we probably shouldn't park them that close tomorrow, because some of the
Yeah.
conditions are going to be, although cold, very cold, the conditions are going to be somewhat different.
Yeah.
We had blowing snow, and it was snowing this morning, which obviously made it not possible for them to see
Yeah,
us.
the visibility was 0.
Where tomorrow it will be sunny. So
Yep.
we're going to have to take a little bit different approach. Where we were kind of hugging brush and trees this morning, we're actually going to be able to take the blinds in there to protect, or to hide ourselves a little bit better.
Yep.
And so that might require just a little bit more time for a setup. One of the things that we also did was we contemplated staying there and trying to completely scratch out a limit with everybody that was involved in the hunt. But, when we were kind of trying to factor in what our options were, and we knew that the birds were wanting to get in there, let's go ahead and call it. Let's get this stuff packed up. Let's go ahead and open up a bigger hole, and so that hopefully those ducks will get back in there. You went out and scouted it tonight, and you didn't see a lot of birds. So there is some uncertainty about what we might see tomorrow.
Right. The hole does look good. It's definitely the largest piece of water there.
Open water.
Open water. I mean, the rest of the stuff is froze up. So,
That's it.
like what you guys are trying for today is go to the biggest body of water in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're going to have tomorrow.
If they're gone and they left, what do you do?
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, we're going to do the same thing everywhere else.
Yeah.
So,
They're gone. If they don't show up tomorrow morning, they're gone.
Yep.
They're in Oklahoma.
Well, if there's some that left and the 12 that stayed, we'll call it 12. Maybe new birds show up and they want to follow the leader and come join them.
oh, yeah, we're going to be picking up some new birds.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt.
I mean, there's a good chance they just hunkered down and didn't want to do anything.
What
did we do this
We hunkered
afternoon?
down in this right here all
We
day
came
long.
back and roasted chestnuts on an open fire.
Exactly. We cooked chili and we hunkered down too. It's not fun. Nobody likes this weather. Look at all the deer that were out yesterday. You didn't see
there wasn't hardly anything out there.
no
Yeah.
movement, no bald eagles flying around, no
No.
hawks flying around, nothing.
No.
Right.
And the nice thing about being able to run the blind, obviously, we're going to need to hide better tomorrow.
I hear this
But
coming.
that means we're putting in the heater.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yes. So we're excited to get back in there. It's going to be a little bit different, although it's the same hole. We feel pretty good about the possibility of having another successful hunt. There are some factors that play into why it could potentially not be as successful, but we're going to do everything in our ability to make it as successful as possible, mainly by creating a blind for ourselves. I guess in kind of wrapping this thing up, let's talk about Tornado Alley for a little bit. You guys have been how long have you guys been in, like 12 years?
12 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
And has progressively grown and got bigger, and now you pretty much sold out every year, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We're booked every year. It's a great problem to have.
Yep.
A little bit stressful.
How was it during the COVID year? Did you have any cancellations, or was that?
We had a few guys kind of change some dates around just because of travel and with their where they work. They wanted them to quarantine when they get back, so it was just made the trip so long, and they didn't have amount of time built up to compensate for all that. So they would roll their dates, but everybody else picked up the slack and jumped right in there. I mean, there's so many people when that hit wanting to be outdoors doing stuff, and we got with your chemical company and made sure everything was cleaned, and that's where that we had to push the cleaning back a little bit because we need to make sure everything was taken care of.
Right.
Not that it wasn't before, but actually go and do all the disinfecting.
Take the extra effort.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it really didn't. Affect us.
Tell them a little bit about your guys' style of hunting, because I think that's a little bit that separates you guys from anywhere else in the country because of the area you're in. People, I guess, don't understand when we talk about hunting small bodies of water a lot of the times, because that's I would assume your guys' forte. That's what we always come to do. That's what we like to do. But yeah, just talk about that a little bit.
So what's unique about us, starting out with us, is this is 100% a private hunt. So you'll book your hunt, you hunt with your guides at your lodge, and that's who you hunt with. You won't get thrown in with another group. And literally, small bodies of water, we're talking
an acre,
2 acres, 3 acres. I mean, some of them that you guys have been on some of them.
Sure,
I mean, you can shoot across this thing, and they just stack up with birds for whatever reason. And then we're moving all the time. We're not staying on our leases or whatever. We've got access to a lot of property, so we can move to where the birds are moving, because these birds around here are very nomadic. They're never staying in one area. They might stay in one area until they get pressured out, and then they're moving. So we got trucks on the road every night just looking for new birds. I mean, I think that's what keeps us successful, just constantly moving.
Mm-hmm.
We're not like in Arkansas where you're throwing a spread out, you're hunting the same spread every day, working traffic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we very rarely hunt traffic.
Always trying to hunt the X.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
And you guys, and this isn't to shame or speak disparagingly on anybody else that we've ever hunted with that is an outfitter, but you guys just put in a tremendous amount of effort, a lot of work. I mean, Sean, for example, was busting his tail for 2.5 hours yesterday morning. Shane was out there as well. I mean, Everett was out there doing a few things, but no, I'm kidding. Everett put in a lot of hard work, but we always like to pick on Everett. Anyway, and that's one of the things I guess I admire and appreciate about you. Will go the extra mile and then some to do everything you can. We don't really consider ourselves clients because we were hunting with each other before we even had a TV show, and you guys were, were, running an outfit. So I just really appreciate the fact that you guys really go above and beyond to provide the very best hunt and best memory that you can, because it's all about retention in your guys' business.
Well, yeah, and to be honest, everybody's spending their hard-earned money to make a memory.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people, this is their vacation.
Yep.
To come do this.
This is Chaz's vacation, actually.
Yeah. To come shoot birds. So, I mean, I'm blessed with guys that are devoted and love to do this as much as I do. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't have anybody in here that wasn't that way.
Yep. It's a very, very solid group of guys. It's, I can say some of my favorite hunts of my life have been here. We have some seriously amazing memories here every year.
And kind of to reiterate a little bit on their style of hunting, it's way different than anywhere else in the country. There's a small portion of Kansas that you can do this in, and there's a lot of small cattle ponds that, for whatever reason, there are small amounts of birds that like to stack up on these ponds, whether that be 100 geese, 200, 300, there might be 1,000 on some of them, but they're not a big roost by any means.
No, they're not.
And they like to trade back and forth to the different waters. They like to go out to feed. They like to come out to these waters midday. They might go back to the main roost during the day. They might roost on there. You never really know, but it's a different style. And then you going and hunting that pond isn't blowing a roost, so to speak.
No, it's not.
Because there are 100 different roosts around, or there may be a bigger roost that
the main
main roost that they're coming from. But it's a different style of hunting that is very, very, very reliable.
Yeah.
That is probably the best word I can use in this area is your guys' style of hunting, the way you guys accomplish things with your clients is very reliable. Day in and day out, it's a reliable style of hunting for this area that I don't think you can really do elsewhere in the country.
Yeah, it's unique here because you get a little further west, you get a little further east.
It's completely different.
Bigger bodies of
completely
water,
different.
your smaller bodies of water dissipate. And so if you've got a big body of water, you are hunting a roost. And obviously we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's so many times we go and we've seen birds going in these ponds and we'll get there and there's not a thing on there. The first few times that happens, it makes you nervous.
Yeah.
But that's what you
That's
want.
what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
just
about
wait till the daylight
9:30,
starts
10
to crack
o'clock.
up and everything starts coming.
Yep. Or they might not show their
Yep.
face until after they get done
Yeah.
feeding. And you're just like, just wait it out. They'll be here.
Yep.
And they show their face. And yeah. And that's the crazy thing. It changes every single day. And
Mhm.
obviously you see that.
Oh, yeah.
But like you said, you can go west 30 minutes. You can go east 30 minutes. And it's completely different. It's just an area that is unique to its own. And I think that's why me personally, I really love this area because it is something you can't get anywhere else.
And what's great about these small bodies of water, it creates such an up close and personal shot.
That's
I
it's
mean,
very intimate. Yeah.
you don't ever see all these clients, at 30 yards, they're getting antsy, wanting to come out of the blind. I was like, just let's let these birds work.
Yep.
I always tell them we want to put them in the water.
Yep.
And they don't get that until they see it. the
Yeah, I was
first
going to
time,
ask you,
and
like,
then-
how, because, I mean, obviously, and we try to do that as well, but, it's sometimes when we're out on the road, depending where we're at in the country, and we'll invite someone to come along with us, and they're getting antsy at 40 yards
Oh, yeah.
to pull
They-
up and
yeah.
shoot, and then
People
we're like,
hate
no, we're going to
hunting
bring it
with
in.
us.
And then they walk away and say, we've never done that before. We've never experienced anything like that before.
And some places can't do that because there's so much pressure.
That is
Yep.
true.
You've got 4 other groups around you,
Yep.
200 yards apart. So you can't work them in. Where we're hunting, we may hear a gunshot.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what's great about it.
It is incredible. And, that's why we come back every single year, and we will, as long as you will allow us to come back.
And to reiterate a little bit more on that is you're not just out there hunting giant numbers,
No.
right? You're not hunting giant feeds. You're not trying to hunt giant water, like 150, 100 birds, 200 birds. Like that is what you want. Those are the ones you want. And they'll come in group of 5 here,
Mm-hmm.
pair here, 3-pack here, 4-pack here. Next thing you know, you are just chipping away at them.
Yep.
And you're done, and you don't always think of it that way,
Right.
No, a lot of people scout and they want those huge numbers.
Yep.
But you get them huge numbers, they're traveling in those big flocks too, and it's more difficult to work in.
Yep.
And then,
Give me the small groups every day.
That will finish
Absolutely.
That
right in your
finish,
face.
that
Give me the
finish
3
all
and
the
4
way
packs,
in.
pair singles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
So much
we
fun.
we alluded to earlier in this that you're typically sold out,
Mhm.
but I don't want to scare away anybody who might be watching this and saying, this sounds pretty incredible. I want to try this, but they already said earlier that they're always sold out. So, do you have a waiting list, or what's the process there if somebody's watching this and didn't never
When
hear
do
a
you
tornado?
open your books?
There you go.
Books are always open.
Okay.
I've got people that are booked 2 years out right now just because of the spot that they want. We've got a core group of guys that come, and their dates are pretty much set in stone when they're going to be coming.
Mhm.
You guys are some of those people.
You
So
can, you can rebook us.
Yeah.
So,
And set the dates.
Better sign those dates up again.
So if people want dates, they can give us a call. We do have a waiting list at the end of the year. Obviously, that they want to know if somebody will cancel. We usually don't have that happen. It's a lengthy list,
Mhm.
but there is options to get in. There's definitely, but we have people that don't come every year. It might be once in every 3 years, but they do come back. So
Mhm.
people are bouncing in and out, but we're fortunate to have 2 full lodges every year.
Any new big plans for the future?
A little bit.
Yeah.
You
Can't talk about it right now.
All right now.
All right. Big things to come.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be featured in an episode of Heartland Waterfowl in the future, huh?
Hey, maybe
Possibly
so.
so.
You
Yes.
just got to get invited back.
But yeah, we do got some new exciting stuff coming along. Everybody will benefit from it. Be good.
Good. Well,
Yep.
I'm excited for you. Congratulations to all the success and all the guys that you have working with you. And we've said this probably every single episode that we've ever released. Filming here with you guys is you truly are like family.
No, it is like hunting a family. It's so much fun.
And I would imagine, I know there's a few fans of our show that have talked and have relationships with you guys because they book with you, and the sentiment is the same. So if you ever are blessed with the opportunity to hunt with Tornado Alley, you're going to walk away with new friends and a new sense of family. Because
And a bunch of guys that work their ass off.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially that guy over there, Sean.
Yep. Everett could probably learn a few things from that guy. if he
He's
just paid
been
attention.
learning. He's been learning. What, 2 years now, 3 years now
Yeah.
you've been learning?
Yep, Everett's a good hand.
Sean doesn't have his own T-shirt, though. I will say that.
No. At least you got a hand.
No, but I mean, dead serious. We give Everett a hard time.
Right.
He works his ass off too. Not quite as much as Sean does. You were not out in the boat yesterday breaking ice. I was. Oh, whatever. 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 No, but it's always a good time. We've been coming here 12 years now. Before you guys even started. And it's been a long time.
The year before you guys were trying to have a episode.
Yep.
And it didn't make the TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then
Man.
right after that, it took off.
Yep.
Man,
You guys are getting
This
old.
we
I know.
are.
This is definitely one that we all.
I'll
look
tell you
forward
what,
to
things
every
have
year.
changed a lot since then.
Yeah,
And-
look at all this crap.
well, but I'm talking hunting wise.
Oh, yeah.
Besides
that, too.
I mean, that field right outside of town we used to hunt, now it's a truck lot or
Oh,
something.
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's-
yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
goodness. But
I mean, look at the areas that used to have
we
birds
hunted
all
the river
time.
10 years ago,
Yeah.
you know, and you look at the birds have changed. It's crazy. It's nuts. I
Yep.
mean, what we're seeing these today and tomorrow is nuts. That we
Yeah.
haven't seen that since we've known each other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No.
So
You know?
if people wanted to, check out your website or follow you on social media, how could they go about doing that?
TornadoAlleyFowl.com is our website, social media. We got Instagram, Facebook. All of our phone numbers are on the website. Feel free to call, text. I'm usually up answering things all
Nice.
hours of the night.
We appreciate you, man.
Hey,
Thank you so
you
much.
bet. You
So
bet.
one more hunt to close out this trip. That will be tomorrow. We'll follow that up with another episode of Behind the Blind to finish out this trip. And then we're off to Texas. So we'll wrap this up for tonight. Thank you again, Tetra Hearing, for being the title sponsor Behind the Blind. Be sure to check them out at tetrahearing.com. And hopefully we'll get back on that creek and bang them up again
we
tomorrow
go.
morning.
Get them in the creek
Get 'em
tomorrow.
in the creek.
We made a nice little ripple for them.
Yeah.